everyone! Pineapple here, and today we return to Dark Gallifrey with Master Part 2 by Lizzie Hopley. Last time in the past, the Master in his Bruce incarnation set a group of Gallifreyan schoolchildren alone on a barren wasteland with only his hologram as company, and is pretty clearly manipulating them to some unknown end. Our main character being the frustrating Gamara, who in the present is the only survivor of the group. All the others, including her crush Cylindra, are in waking death states, and an investigator is trying to get to the bottom of it with a sort of chapter separation to get Gamara through the traumatic story. We also have an obvious Doctor appearance coming up, since someone who seems to be him is flickering in and out of time, and we also have interesting mentions of Gallifreyan legend Mother Quiver, who was set up as a dangerous force interestingly in the Box of Terrors. So I'm interested to see where this story goes with some of my favourite Time Lords, not you Gamara, and a legend to unravel. So let's get into Dark Gallifrey Master Part 2. First of all, in the characters, we have the protagonist, Gamara, reprised by Claire Huckle, and she is a lot more interesting this part. The way she is characterised, sort of one foot in the do what needs to be done camp, and the cringing at the inhumane camp, is done well. But my god is she whiny and annoying. There were multiple times, at least in her past, that I just wanted her to shut up. But she is a lot better as the older narrator with the Mind Shield as she discusses the past and her process in the Mind Shield stages. So sure, not terrible, but there were times I was definitely sick of her. While she is Gamara's focus in the present, Cylindra, reprised by Millie Hikasa, doesn't really have much to do. She has a lot of moments, but most of them are arguing with the others, rarely getting her way, and trying to pursue the moral high ground in a situation that, thanks to the Master, is far beyond doing the right thing. So while the performance is good and she's not written terribly, all I recall her doing is arguing that the Master and Tabreen are cruel and manipulative, causing Gamara's more whiny and annoying side to come out to argue with her. Probably the most cruel of the kids is Tabreen, reprised by Nadia Violet Johnson, and I can't say I like her that much, but she was interesting whenever she was around, spending her time either jealous of Cylindra due to her crush on Gamara, or torturing Olzel. So like I say, I don't like her that much, but she was consistently interesting and well performed. Olzel, reprised by Francesca Gilbert, takes a real beating this episode, seriously. Tortured by her own psychic ability, and thanks to breathing in psychic wood smoke, then her powers going haywire and affecting everyone else. So both the cousins and Tabreen decide to follow the Master's wants and give him a mentally deteriorated, yet powerful Time Lord for his regenerative dissonance experiments, psychologically torturing the already injured and unstable young girl. It's not fun, but she is perfectly endearing as such a victim of circumstance, being the weakest and easy target for the Master. There's also a nice reference surrounding her as her mother's name is stated as Edavane, who I recall being a Time Lord character in Mother Quiver's first appearance, the Box of Terrors. They may not be the same character, but the use of the name is nice. Then once again are the two cousins, Taurus and Borin, and they're probably the least interesting of the main cast. We get to infer more of their darker backstories, as the psychic wood makes Borin hallucinate trauma, and he is seemingly killed in front of Olzel when Taurus starts hallucinating thanks to Tabreen's psychic darts, or so she thought. But it seems to be a way to hurt Olzel, since the Master must have let them go after playing a sufficient part in Olzel's decline, since both are hunted by Mother Quiver later. The Mind Shield is reprised by the writer herself, and she has good moments. I like her interactions with Gamara, and she's performed well, but she really does just feel like the way to get through the story here, to prompt Gamara, and will for the most part only be a full character in Part 3. But that doesn't mean she's bereft of nice moments, especially when arguing with Gamara. Lastly, of course, is Eric Roberts as the Master, or as they know him, the Vector. And I love his performance. He gets really manipulative in this one, and sure, it's blatant and obvious that he's doing it in the story, but the way Eric Roberts can have those smarmy moments, but then come off completely personable and reasonable when convincing the students to traumatize and break someone, so while he still isn't acting as a character in person, I think the performance really sells his nudges. We get a nice previously on, which was good considering my reviews were months apart, and we start with Gamara and the Mind Shield discussing her phases. And I have to be honest, I liked the chapter system in Morbius, but this really doesn't work for me. Other than just being chapter-like breaks, I felt like sometimes the phases would vaguely direct Gamara and the Mind Shield's conversation. Within the story, I felt very little correlation between the meaning and the part of the story actually being told. Beyond them going, this is the next phase, and Gamara going, oh, that's the next phase. And then once the flashbacks stop, oh, that's what you really meant. It's a little repetitive and I just don't think they fit well. The flashbacks continue from the cliffhanger, Gamara and the Master discussing the ethics of picking one of them to sacrifice for Gallifrey, but also to get off that barren world. Gamara's love of folklore really interesting the Master, so he tells her more about Mother Quiver, a Time Lord regenerative dissonance sufferer with 7 minds, disowned and spent her time puppeteering a war in an alternate universe, D-Space. Or as the Master infers, Dead Space, once Quiver was done.
Quiver is my personal favorite.
Your favorite?
Leading 7 sides of one war all by yourself across a section of space encompassing 3 galaxies and 7 different time zones? All at once is an impressive feat even for a Time Lord. Masterful, I should say.
There's a nice explanation of regenerative dissonance, and later, much like Morbius, mentioning the 11 regenerative dissonance, seemingly a focus of the Dark Gallifrey line. He reveals this experiment is to give him a subject to try and cure regenerative dissonance in. Give him a broken, manipulative subject, and they're free to go. After the Mind Shield and Gamara discuss crushes and love triangles, having the violence avert Cylindra kill and rend a pig bear, while Tabreen enjoys watching, still being bitchy. Taurus tells Olzel about their wood situation, the wood getting harder to find as he belittles the girl, and everyone but Cylindra are getting ready to ditch Olzel. No one's saying it, but everyone ready to throw her under the bus. Tabreen knowing the cousins will do the same and hoping to keep Gamara close. In the present, Gamara has a nice scene talking to the comatose Cylindra, sent back to flashbacks by the Mind Shield, Cylindra finally finding out everyone's plans and calling the Master out on his clear manipulation and shifty identity. While Gamara, who apparently cares for her, instead tries to correct her like a bitchy Year 1 Hermione. The cousins have a nice little talk together planning on how to convince the others to get rid of Olzel. Borin clearly not wanting to do it, but Taurus is really an unpleasant piece of work, seemingly ready to kill her just because she's different. It's really off-putting. I'm happy we already know he's going to perish. The Master reveals to Cylindra that Tabreen is ingratiating herself to Olzel for the sole purpose of abandoning her to break her. Gamara shocked, but annoyingly uncaring. The Master reveals to them that the woods around were once a psychic forest, the materials for psychic paper. The wood burning right by Olzel, inadvertently causing her condition to worsen and affect others in the first place. The Doctor appears again and Taurus is ready to kill him instantly. Wow, way to ingratiate yourself to the audience, dickbag. While the fire's psychic smoke brings out Borin's trauma, causing him to freak out. They put the fires out, and we get to hear from the Master giving us some interesting info on D-Space, once peaceful until Mother Quiver set up shop, and giving us a little info into her personalities. Cylindra, Borin, and Gamara talk about Quiver and Olzel with the Master, him describing some interesting Time Lord lore while Tabreen and Taurus are away. Tabreen making darts out of psychic wood to attack with, while Taurus tries to interrogate Olzel, attacking her until Tabreen shows up, ready to torture him or Borin with the psychic darts in revenge. The other 3 hear them and are ready to stop Tabreen, Borin even taking a weapon, but the fake death is put into plan as Taurus fake hallucinates and kills his cousin, all in the service of traumatizing Olzel. Without Tabreen in the loop, her darts not having worked. The cousins being taken away now that their job was done. Gamara and the Mind Shield figure out that when they were attacked, all of the survivors were at their peaks and accomplishments, positing revenge as the motive due to this. We get more flashbacks, but they're more recent. Gamara trying to talk to the other survivors, only really managing to see Tabreen, neither able to find any info on what they went through or who the Master was, but instead a little bit of flirting. Back in the past for the last time, Gamara and Cylindra see Tabreen making a storage box, and then going off to fake her death, begging Olzel to kill her, and then faking suicide. The story ending is Cylindra Solyndra realizes it was planned, Gamara having known, but while Gamara chases a running Solyndra, the Doctor's spectre appears once again, seemingly using his arrow to kill Solyndra. A pretty solid cliffhanger even if we know it's probably false. So part 2 was better than part 1, I thought part 1 was okay. The characters only starting to get interesting and the Master didn't do much, but here the characters, while some are still annoying, are explored more in depth and the Master's manipulations get bigger and more dangerous. Now the not so solid framing device makes some scenes feel a little disjointed, not holding up well as a monthly release. Morbius with its chapters fine when separated because it was quite linear, whereas here we're jumping all around the place with the present, the past that is a little bit before the present, and it's not like it's too complex, but when the release is a month apart each, this part feels a little less satisfying than it should, and while I am getting into Gamara even if she is still annoying, with most of the cast already kinda dead, it's still a little hard to care deeply about them, leading me to not being very invested in them. So I'll give Dark Gallifrey Master Part 2 a 6.5 out of 10. Getting better but not amazing, and not sucking me in as much as I would have liked, but I'm hoping the series ends quite strong, considering it's usually the middle part that's the best in Dark Gallifrey, and I do think that this story can get better. Thank you everybody for watching my review of Dark Gallifrey Master Part 2. Please like the video if you liked it, comment down below if you wish, consider subscribing to the channel, and if you do, ring the notification bell so that you're told every single time that I make an upload. Once again, thank you for watching and I will see you in the next review. Bye!
Toast. A little piece of toast. Because there's so much to choose from. There's brown bread, white bread, all sorts of wholemeal bread. It comes in funny packages with writing on the side.